So the experience before Mosaic was created as an organization, when I first got to Loyola, what I noticed was something that was disheartening for me, to see the students didn't have necessarily a community to support each other. They didn't, like, they existed in a space. It's like, you know, if you were to play chess or checkers, it's like it's this red piece and this black piece, but they're not really interacting with each other. Like, if I need to jump over you, I'm going to jump over you. And so it wasn't really a collective that people were like looking to be supported in. And so for me, I wasn't used to something like that. I've been at multiple colleges and I've seen where like student organizations play a huge role in students' lives. And we're talking about retaining our students, like student organizations play a huge role. That's where you find your community. For a lot of students, they're far away from home, or these are the only people that they're going to know in a space that's unfamiliar to them, especially when we're talking about students of color on a predominantly white institution. So utilizing your student organization to be kind of your secondary family, if family is a term that is, has a positive experience for you, definitely something that people utilize to have support on campus. And so when I came to Loyola, it wasn't there. We currently don't have sororities or fraternities on campus. And we don't really have too many organizations that kind of explore this concept of a bond for people beyond us being just present. So I didn't see like a sisterhood, I didn't see like a community, I didn't see anything that like was a group of people that like I genuinely want to support this person for them to become better. I often saw a very competitive experience with students, and culturally I'm not used to that. I'm used to looking at communities that were conducive of supporting each other. And so I was trying to unpack where that competitiveness came from. So I went to this retreat and all I could see was just women needing something, like something was missing in their lives. And it's just like they came to this one time where they came together and they just exploded and revealed so much about themselves. And it's just like, we don't have the space to talk about what we're experiencing on campus. Like, yeah, we talk about race, we talk about gender, we talk about it in a very academic way of things, but a realistic kind of organic way of doing it is not something that is like a consistent conversation that's happening on campus. And so it was, for me, I was glad that we were able to have the retreat, but at the same time kind of sad that this wasn't something that was integrated within the institution in itself. Like, the retreat was at another campus. It was, we had to bus the students out. So again, giving context, like, it's not something that's happening on the Evergreen campus where they actually live. We're not going within the residence halls. We're not going into their classroom. We're going into another space. Again, it's kind of like that othering. We're putting them into another space I think it's good to create that safe space, but again, what happens when you don't necessarily have the space on the campus that you're predominantly at? And so just to see that experience was like really hard for me. And just not having people connect for the first time at the end of the year when they've been together for 2-3 years, that was kind of weird for me. And so from there, I just started to think about what needed to happen on the campus consistently, not once a year, not once a semester, but something that becomes a foundational piece of the institution itself. And so thus Mosaic was born. Creation or development of Mosaic was one of my most proudest moments, I have to say. I remember coming from the Women of Color retreat feeling so filled with joy and excitement to have this continue on the Evergreen campus. And so I had Yamalex.
Hello, my name is Yamalex Pena, and I am the co-founder of Mosaic. I also served as Foley Elder, Vice President. I'm currently the President of Mosaic. I am a senior at Loyola University, Maryland. I'm a global studies major concentrating in human rights, conflict, and justice. I'm also a philosophy minor.
Actually, that year was known as like the captain. She was one of the captains assigned for the Women of Color retreat, and she was also my office assistant. And so we were able to communicate a lot about things. And so during that time, I came to Young Lex and I'm like, you know what? I have this idea of creating this student group. What do you think about it? And I was like, I want to create a Women of Color organization. And so she was like, man, that's dope. I want to do it. We should do it. And so I remember that summer, that year, Young Lex knew that she was going to go abroad in the fall. And so she said we should look for a leader on campus who is not quite involved in a lot, but is someone who has strong leadership skills. And, you know, Young Lex had recommended Jordan.
My name is Jordan Zali Copper, and I'm a junior currently studying abroad in Alcalá de Henares, España. And I miss you all so much, and I love seeing all the hard work you're doing, and I can't wait to see you all. So I served as Mosaic's first president in 2016 upon establishment, as well into fall 2017. Additionally, I created organizations use of villages, as well as the symbolic names for each title. From the get-go, we wanted Mosaic to stand out from the rest, and therefore we reconstructed the entire executive board of positions. And we wanted to make it a more collective leadership, and also include our members as part of the decision-making process. After all, this organization is for our members. This has been an amazing journey, and each day I am in awe of each and every one of you, and the amount of strides that we're making, and the new initiatives we're creating, new events we're doing, and just seeing everyone's energy has been quite amazing, honestly. And even the incoming new ambassadors, I see you all just so excited, like in the group chat, and just taking control and spearheading even like the banquet. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Mosaic means a lot for me as I've watched it from a small idea into a highly recognized coalition. I knew from the start we were creating something that was long overdue for women of color on our campus. And so upon establishment, we all came up with the consensus that Mosaic had to be a space that pushed the status quo, and we were going to talk about things that weren't really normal for clubs or just like on Loyola's campus as well, because we thought if we can't do it here, then who else is going to do it? So we wanted to be that space. So we are very ambitious and we're very driven, and people took notice really fast. Let's see.
And so you essentially would call Young Lex, Jordan, and myself kind of the founders of Mosaic, essentially. And I have to give props to Young Lex because she wasn't like, oh, I want to be president. I want to be, you know, my name on top of everything. She was so humble and like, who can we pass the torch to? Like, who can we give an opportunity? I know I'm not going to be here in the fall, but who can we give this opportunity to lead this like initiative? And so I thought that was really cool. So I knew that these two women was something that, when we talk about the foundation, what Mosaic represents, it's like sisterhood. To support your sister, not to be about the individual, but be about the collective. And from the beginning, that's what it started from. And so I knew that this would be something that would be magnificent and that no one could just touch. Mosaic is 2 years old and have really shifted the culture here on campus in less than 2 years. And it's because of the intentionality about who was going to be in that space, who was going to have the conversations about what this organization meant. And it wasn't just, oh, let's just start an organization and say we started an organization. We really have to create something that will be phenomenal and something that's not already done. Because what's already existing is not doing a job on campus, obviously. And so we sat down in a group. I remember, like, not in this office, but the conference room. I feel like the starting we ever said a space that started Mosaic, it would be like this office. Like everything, the conversations, this space, length. I would say from that meeting, we talked a lot about like how we're gonna represent Mosaic and what Mosaic will be.
I define Mosaic as a collective group of women who are there to support each other no matter what challenges come arise. And it could be through personal issues, it could be academic issues, financial issues, whatever it is that women of color specifically going through, Mosaic is there to provide resources for them, to support them, and just to be there as a presence, even if that means just being next to somebody while they're crying. Like, that's what Mosaic is about. We're an organic organization that just wants the best for the women of color on this campus.
Mosaic came from all the different words. Think how deep that is. Like, it came from all these different words to come together to create the mission, to thus create the name of the organization, which is Mosaic. And from the beginning, it has always been that flow, right? And even before we confirmed that this tree was going to represent Mosaic, we knew that this was our foundation and that we're talking about life, giving knowledge, giving energy to the space. And so just to see that, to witness that was pretty powerful, to be quite honest. And so they worked over the summer. I mean, like when I said sweat, blood, tears, all of that good stuff, they gave a lot. They invested a lot to this organization, and because it was them, this organization was them. This was their skin. This was their heart. This was their legs. This was everything to them. This was their baby, and so they wanted to introduce Mosaic to the community in a way that an organization has never been introduced. Elder, like that term comes from very indigenous cultures and other cultures. We talk about, instead of saying committees, we say village. When we name different types of villages, they represent something. So one means, looking at like family and love, and it's like, what does it mean to be a sister? Instead of just saying, you're gonna be someone who like builds sisterhood. It's like, well, kind of want a little bit more than that. Like what that means is not, we want to say like, this person got you when you up, and they got you when you down, and they got you when you just chilling too. And so being intentional about the language that we use was really important. But we also knew introducing this to a campus that was unfamiliar to it, we knew, and we were excited about having to explain what each word meant or what the language meant, because that in itself was providing education and awareness on our campus, which was not happening. So again, something that was organic, just even the concept of Mosaic existing was challenging white supremacy. Honestly, it was challenging and disrupting it all, because you're so used to hearing the word, this is the president, what is the chief elder? So if you're gonna have people ask questions, education and awareness was always happening. When we wasn't even intentionally trying to have a forum to be educating people, you're gonna always be educated when you look at who we represent and what we are. We're good with asking us questions. That's what we want you to do, because again, that allows us to create a voice for ourselves and for the women of color on this campus. And so everything from the programs that we do, the people that are involved in it, the people who have supported us, what we have done has always been intentional about bringing some awareness on this campus. From that, created Mosaic.
Hi, I'm Clarissa. I'm a senior at Loyola University, Maryland, and I'm currently the Elham Elder for Mosaic, a Women of Color initiative.
My name is Nia Katalproor. I am a sophomore. I'm majoring in psychology with a minor in peace and justice studies, and I'm the She Elder.
My name is Darian Lopez Robles. I am a rising senior, and I'm currently studying international business and political science, and I will be taking on the role of the Elham Elder.
Hi, my name is Maren Malky. I'm currently a senior here at Loyola. I was born in Syria, but my family now lives in northern New Jersey. My name is Halima Hafiz. I am currently a first year here at Loyola, and I am majoring in marketing.
Okay. Hi, my name is Gabriella Romo, and I'm from San Antonio, Texas. And I am a first year. I'm studying global studies as of right now, and peace and justice studies as a minor.
I'm Rodlin. I'm a junior. I'm an English writing major, gender studies minor.
Hi everyone, my name is Crystal Antoine. I'm a junior accounting major, and I've been a member of Mosaic for 2 years now.
My name is Sierra McFadden. I'm a sophomore. My major is speech language pathology and audiology.
Hi, my name is Patricia Tor. I am a junior class of 2019, biochemistry major with a minor in writing.
So my name is Abeni, and it comes from Swahili in that it means that we asked for her and thus she came. And it is a representation of that we all need support. So elders are supported, I'm supported, but the fact that I am involved in Mosaic, I am also a member of Mosaic. I think I have the technical term of moderator, but the fact that I was given a Benny, and it's funny because the girls always talk about like if I ever leave that the name goes with me. That's how powerful it is for me. Like this is not something that we give to just anybody. Anyone can't be the Benny. The Benny is you, and so I think it's very powerful because I myself as an administrator on campus, I really love these girls and I really want the best for them.
On campus, before Mosaic was developed,
I often struggled with my identity and my place here on campus. I felt a little lost. I wasn't really sure who I was as a person, and I wanted to explore more about my identity in ways that I didn't know I could. As a woman of color from the Bronx, I really struggled with how people saw me and how I projected myself to others. Often I would refrain from telling everyone every detail about me, and it took a while for me to become proud about who I am fully. Mosaic means a lot to me because I think it also helped me stay here on campus. It helped me meet so many wonderful, wonderful, beautiful ladies inside and out.
Yeah, they became mentors to me. So I really don't remember a time like before Mosaic, because that was really the most fundamental part of me my first year at Loyola, because I feel like I always had that support system for me. And then I saw myself moving up as a leader. I didn't anticipate to do it my sophomore year. I thought it was something I'd be doing more junior or sophomore year, but they really pushed me out of my comfort zone. And yeah.
So before Mosaic came to Loyola's campus, I would say that the environment for women of color was limited. It's like we knew we were all here together on campus, so we didn't have an avenue or a place to actually be together. It only happened once a year at the Women of Color retreat that Alana holds for us. But in that, it's a very structured conference. So while it was fun to see a group of women on Loyola's campus together in one space, which showed a lot about having people occupying that space, it was really good to have that. But that only happened once a year. So I would say that there wasn't really a network. That's what Mosaic is on. Mosaic is a network, and before Mosaic came about, there wasn't a network of women there to kind of support each other. It's like we knew somebody of somebody, but it wasn't that, I would say, strong of a connection, a bond.
Experience before Mosaic at Loyola was very interesting. I was having this weird identity crisis thing going on. I didn't know who I was. I knew I wasn't white because I clearly don't fit in with this demographic. And so I signed up for a Women of Color retreat my sophomore year, and it was probably the best smack in the face that's ever happened to me. It was such a great bonding experience because we all bonded over things that were very, very deep and very, very personal to us. And the Mosaic was just born out of that. I was asked to be on the committee to found Mosaic. It took so long just to get everything perfectly right, but it was extremely worth it because now everything just kind of falls into place with who I am and who I want to be.
So one of the obstacles I had to overcome in Mosaic was getting women of color interested in our organization and actually want to be a part of it. Because at this time, the women of color that we were looking at to be part of our organization were very busy or graduating, and we knew that we wanted to sustain our organization. So when we first came about, we wanted to make sure that we were picking women that would represent Mosaic and be invested in the long run for it. And we were so fortunate to find those women a part of this organization. Another thing we had to overcome was the whole concept of what is Mosaic and where does Mosaic belong on this campus. So at first, when we first started, we thought, should we be under the Alana organization, because you are a group of women of color and Alana does represent students of colors, and it is an organization for that purpose. But we knew that we didn't want to take all the resources of Alana. Alana's it's very short when it comes to providing for all the student groups at the Alana campus, so we knew that if we got into the organization under that umbrella, we were just going to take more funds, and we didn't want to do that. And we also knew that we should be part of the Student Activities Board because it does represent all students, and we wanted to keep our name in the ether and just keep it in a more mainstream sort of umbrella, if that makes sense.
Some of the obstacles that we had to overcome as Mosaic really stemmed in the beginning of it. As Mosaic, we really wanted to be organic, but it's kind of hard. What does organic look like? So as women, we had to sit at the table and really decide what did we want our structure to be. And every part of that was intentional, but it did take a lot of time. We had to formulate what we wanted Mosaic to look like in relation to the villages, in relation to the elders. What were the names going to be? How are we going to be inclusive with the names?
every name that we picked has a different meaning from a different background, from a different culture. So we wanted everyone to feel inclusive, even just in the names of how we identify leadership positions.
So there were some obstacles with forming Mosaic and holding events around campus. One would be the vagina monologues, which I helped produce in the second year. And there was a lot of pushback because we're having conversations surrounding sex on campus. Loyola is an abstinence-based university. Also, another obstacle that we had to go through is I'd hear people speaking, like whether it be in hallways or classes, or hearing stories of what people have said about, oh, why isn't there like a white women's initiative or stuff like that. But obviously we need a space for us to support each other, and I think we fought through everything really, really well. Definitely better than people would have thought that we would, especially with these stereotypes that women of color are generally very angry. We handled everything with like grace and poise, even though we were very pissed off on the inside. So yeah, I feel like every obstacle that we have faced, we've been able to fight back in like the most gracious way possible.
Hello, my name is Jamel Braddock. I am an assistant director in the Office of Student Activities. I've been with Loyola for a little over a year. And so my understanding of Mosaic is Mosaic's purpose on campus is to essentially provide resources, educational moments for, or particularly for women of color. I think, you know, that is my understanding of Mosaic. I think that Mosaic, over the last year and a half that I've been here at Loyola, I think that they've done an amazing job, particularly with programming across campus. I think that the women of Mosaic, they've been responding to some of the issues that have arisen in the Loyola community, but also nationally with, you know, informational meetings and opportunities for not just women of color, but the entire campus community, which is great. I think that that's one of the unique parts about the organization, is that these young women are promoting the organization, celebrating sisterhood, which I think is phenomenal. I think that not very few organizations on campus are tackling social issues, and I think that that's something that the Mosaic women has been doing and do quite well, frankly. It's amazing to see some of the young women across campus. They're not just part of Mosaic, but they're a part of various student organizations. Green and Gray, I think one of the other great things about Mosaic is they're attracting women who want a sisterhood, women who are academically strong, women who are leaders, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these young ladies will continue to do on campus.
My understanding of Mosaic, well, I could define it for you, but you all know what Mosaic is. So my understanding of it is, wow, I think about Mosaic as a woman, and I think about the strength and the power and the beauty and the creative spirits of all of the women whose leadership has created what Mosaic is on this campus. As a community of color, the women of Mosaic haven't found their voice. You have always had your voice, and I think that's really important to name. But you have found creative spaces to uphold and to amplify those voices and to invite others into that conversation in a way that celebrates our women of color on this campus. As a woman, I look to you in gratitude for the ways in which you've shaped my understanding of what a powerful woman looks like. So thank you.
I don't know, I feel like I have a lot of great memories of Carissa, because she actually was a mentor for me through AM. And yeah, we got a lot closer through Mosaic as well. So we just have a lot of like really fun memories together because she's just so funny and genuine. So our personalities mesh really well. Another really great memory I have is speaking at our retreat. That was really cool. I feel like I connected with the first years a lot, so like that was really cool. And then they became the newest ambassadors, so I feel like it was just really fundamental for me. It was actually one of the first times that I was like speaking publicly, so it really got me out of my comfort zone, and it was also a very like emotional time too. So yeah, I feel like we all bonded a lot.
One of my favorite memories has to be, this is so cheesy. Okay, so one of my favorite memories was during Profundidad. It was our first retreat at Profundidad, and it was crazy. Crazy in regards to like the planning that went into it, the feedback that we were getting, just kind of like, it was just like a whirlwind of information and just kind of like, just everything that was involved to make that retreat happen and be so successful was so amazing. But a part of that, my favorite memory, was when all the elders, because at this time we didn't have any ambassadors, they were pretty busy. It was kind of, like, that wasn't really a concept in Mosaic when we first started, so it was mostly elders doing a lot of the work back then. So what we had to do, because we had no money either, at that time we had basically no money, we made pasta. And Marin kind of volunteered. She said, I'll help make the pasta. We were like, okay, great, we're gonna do it. You know, we're having a great time. We get the pasta. Turns out the pasta gets cold because like we left it out too long, but people still enjoyed it, so it was really great. But there was a part after the retreat when we were all cleaning up, was when all the elders, we were exhausted, and we just started dancing in the kitchen because we were just kind of exhausted. We were so happy it went so well, and it was just having all of us there just kind of like dancing, being funny, kind of like poking fun at each other, like, it was just a great time. And I will not forget that because it kind of showed us that through the hard times, we're there when it's thick and thin, but we know how to have fun.
To follow your passions first and foremost, because that will lead you in the right direction. Also, always think about the intention that you have behind anything that you're doing, because intentionality is so important for Mosaic. So if you keep it at the forefront of your mind, like, why am I doing this? Then I think that you'll stay on the right path.
So, one piece of advice I would give to future Mosaic members would be to open yourself up. I know how hard it is to be vulnerable, especially as women of color. And it took me a long time to just kind of let myself go and be as open as possible, and you know, basically expose these strangers to my vulnerability. But the second that you do, you're gonna feel so much better. So just be open. I know how hard it is, but like, be as vulnerable as you can, and you're gonna form these great relationships that are going to last literally a lifetime. Obviously I wouldn't know right now, but I just see it happening. So hopefully you're able to open up as soon as possible, and you're just jump right in there.
Some of the things that I would say to the young women involved in Mosaic is keep inspiring people. Keep inspiring women of color. Keep inspiring people who are not of color, because they need to know about who you are and what you're doing on campus. And also, congratulations on Club of the Year.
To the elders, I want to say that so often when I look at each of you, I think about myself on a college campus as a student. And I am a white woman, I am not a woman of color, so I can't speak from that perspective. But I can speak from the perspective of a woman in an identity that is underrepresented at a school. And coming out for me was a process that I wasn't strong in, and I didn't know how to use my voice, and I wasn't a leader. And I look to all of you with just awe of the ways in which you have used your identities and celebrated them in the most beautiful ways that make meaning on our campus. And so I hope that the students I work with continue to use your model, and I hope that my kids one day are leaders like you.
I, Mary Whitehead, am Mosaic.
I, Clarissa Sara Gonzalez, am Mosaic.
Ana Marin Melki, Mosaic.
I, Yamlix Pena, am Mosaic.
Moi-même, Patrice Bian Latour, c'est Mosaic.
I, Gabriela Romo, am Mosaic.
I, Jordan Zollicoffer, am Mosaic.
I, Cristel Sofia Otuan, am Mosaic.
Yo soy Darian Lorena López Robles y yo soy parte de Mosaic.
Okay, so I, Sierra Najee McFadden, sorry about my middle name, am Mosaic.
Yo, Halim Hafiz, soy Mosaic.
I, Robin-May Banting, am Mosaic.
Wait, let me try a wink. Okay. I'm really good at winking, but it may not work this time. Okay. I, Nia, am Mosaic. Cut. That should be like the outro.